Hey, thank you very much for joining us here at Revisiting the Mania, WrestleMania Rewatch podcast. I'm Carlos,
And I'm Maria.
and today we are revisiting WrestleMania 14.
Whoop, whoop.
We're in the year of 1998.
Yes.
This WrestleMania was billed as the greatest attraction of all time, or sports entertainment.
Ooh.
So
Get ready to rewind and revisit WrestleMania 14 with us. So, like Carlos said, the date is March 29th, 1998 at Fleet Center. For those of you in Boston, Massachusetts, that's now the TD Garden. And we have a total of 8 matches that were held during this event.
okay.
So when we're talking the garden, it's also known as the house that Bill Russell built. Do you know who Bill Russell is?
Yeah, he's rest in peace, Bill Russell, but he was a NBA player with the Boston Celtics. I believe he won like 10 or 12 NBA championships,
Right.
and like 8 in a row.
Ooh. So like Carlos was saying, he is a professional basketball player who played center for the Celtics.
Yes.
And also he played from 1956 through 1969. So again, it's known as the house that Russell built, which I think is pretty cool. So did we talk tagline?
Yeah, I talked to tagline, the greatest event.
The greatest pay-per-view attraction
yeah.
of all time. And Carlos is definitely right. The pay-per-view rate in North America at the time was 730,000. And
Dang.
right, that's a big number. 730,000.
Mhm.
And total in attendance is 19,028.
19,028?
Yeah, so from what
Okay.
I've been hearing, this was the first WrestleMania of the Attitude Era.
Okay.
Do we want to talk commentators or?
Oh, we could definitely talk to commentators because guess what, everybody? I got my wish, and we do not have Vincent Kennedy McMahon anymore. It's just JR and good old JR and Jerry the King Lawler. No
Ooh.
third man in the booth.
So, like you said, we have Jerry the King Lawler. For Spanish commentators, we have Carlos Cabrera,
Mhm.
Hugo Savinovich, and Tito, one of my favorites, one of your favorites, Tito Santana.
Tino had to come back and get paid, I think, right?
So we had 2 out of 3 of these Spanish commentators are wrestlers. I believe one of the gentlemen is a lucha. So the intro I think is hilarious and a throwback to the classics and Vincent J. McMahon Sr.
Vince Senior.
They show him, which I think is pretty awesome. And they have a showcase of the immortals, and the official candy of this WrestleMania is the
M&M, right? Is it just the red M&M or is it all of the M&Ms? Because they only show the red one.
You're really right, because I saw the red M&M in attendance, and one of the fans was holding up a red M&M. So I'm not sure if it was red specific, but that was definitely the official candy of this WrestleMania 14. So I'm really looking forward to this WrestleMania. It has a few of my favorites.
Okay.
What did you think about that band, the DX band that opened the show?
Did they actually play?
Yeah, I mean, we hear America the Beautiful and the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
The audience did not react well to the way that they played, and to my understanding, that segment was edited off of quite a few items
of them booing, like the audience. I mean,
and them playing too. So
I always consider them being like a ripoff of Rage Against the Machine. So,
do you think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's just like the way the singer tries to sound like a little bit. He sounds like a little bit like Zach de la Rocha.
I mean, we are big fans of, well, you're a bigger fan than I am. I'm of late of Rage Against the Machine.
That happens.
I won't take your thunder, but yeah, your musical taste rubbed off on me.
Oh, I'm glad something else is rubbing off on you.
So with that, do we want to go into match 1?
Sure. We're getting started with a number 1 contendership for the tag team titles. This is one of those where both of the tag team members are in the ring.
Mhm.
If one gets eliminated, then the other one has to leave the ring.
So tell me, are we going to go through the list of tag team names?
Well, we can. We have the Legion. Oh, the Legion of Doom is the only one that gets like an introduction.
LOD.
Yeah, LOD 2000. They're back,
Mhm.
and with the troublemaker Tammy Sitch, or otherwise known as Sunny. So we have her here, but we have Los Boricuas now with Savio Vega and Miguel Perez.
Love Savio.
We have, I guess there's still the new Blackjacks. You still have Barry Windham here with Bradshaw.
Oh.
And let's see, you still have the Godwins, the Disciples of the Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't get much of them, and then you have this other group called Recon.
Disciples of the Apocalypse, were they the ones with the spikes on their shoulders?
Yeah,
Or
they're the biker, the people that had like the biker gang on vests.
Okay.
And then you had the Midnight Express here, and
It's a long list.
yeah, I'm going through it here. I think that's it. I think I got all the tag teams that are in here now.
And if you haven't and you watched it or you know, feel free to comment below.
Yeah, as we are streaming live on YouTube and on our Facebook page at Revisiting Mania. So
the match goes 8 minutes and 19 seconds.
Did you enjoy any of these tag teams that you saw? You know, you were familiar with the Godwins. You were familiar with the Legion of Doom. I think this is like the third time we've seen them.
Right.
And you were familiar with the new Blackjacks.
Yes. I mean, I am a fan.
Oh, and the Headbangers were in there.
Oh, yeah, the Headbangers.
Yeah.
So they are one of my favorites. I think they get eliminated early on. So I would say the Headbangers are some of my favorites. The Godwins, I like to see wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed seeing Savio Vega.
Savio
Vega.
Mm-hmm.
I also enjoy seeing Mark Henry in the ring. So
yeah,
that was
Mark
really exciting
Henry,
for me.
Coming off of his Olympic tour. He was a power lifter in the 96 Olympics, and that's what caught Vince's eye.
Okay.
And he's like, I need this big man, because you know Vince likes the big meaty men.
Ooh. And Mark Henry, I mean, epic wrestler, one of my favorites. He definitely is a meaty man. So I just want to talk a little bit about Roaddogg, who I think rapped for a little bit.
You did, but you want to get to this now, or you want to wrap up this tag team battle royal?
We can. Do you want to talk about who your favorite was?
If I had to pick someone that was probably gonna win, it probably would have been Legion of Doom.
Oh, and why is that?
Just because I think when we're considering all these tag teams, they were probably like the only tag team that anyone wanted to see win. And they were always the tag team that was built from Chicago.
LOD. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. I did not know that they were built from Chicago. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to like read up and see some more on the LOD. Do people call them that, or they call them Legion of Doom?
They probably call them the Road Warriors, because that's how they were known as when they were wrestling earlier, like in NWA and WCW.
Nice. Well, I mean, we see Savio Vega get tossed over and out of the ring pretty, I don't know if I want to say quickly. The Godwins did some good work. They double teamed Hawk. Also, I'm excited to see Mark Henry. Like I said, you pointed out that they broke their own rules when he was eliminated.
No, actually, I had rewatched that one.
Okay.
What happened is that D'Lo Brown, his tag team partner, got eliminated.
Okay.
But we never see it on camera.
Oh.
So technically, he was supposed to get eliminated.
Okay.
Because Mark Henry, if you haven't seen this, normally it's an over the top elimination, and he actually gets thrown in between the ropes. Right. And when I first saw it, I wasn't paying attention to Jerry or to what JR was saying. Okay. But on the second time I watched it, I heard them say that D'Lo Brown got eliminated, so that elimination was okay.
That makes sense, because I was probably asking questions, or Toddler was probably asking questions. So, I mean, Legion of Doom wins, and I'm happy for them. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought that was the right win. Like I just told you, it was like, I'm looking at this and none of these other tag teams, because this is for the #1 contendership. So they would have to face the winners of the dumpster match that we have later on with the New Age Outlaws,
Yes.
the Road Dog Jesse James, and the Badass Billy Gunn
Yeah.
versus Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack.
Wow.
So now that we have our number one contenders, the Legion of Doom, they'll face them at either the next night at Raw or at the next pay-per-view.
Wow.
So
thank you for that additional information. That's pretty cool.
you're welcome.
So, I mean, are we able to talk about the Road Dog right now, or do we want to wait until
You
a little bit
can
later?
wait until we get to the dumpster match. I know you want to share your information
I'm
with our
really
viewers
excited.
and with our listeners.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and the quicker we can get through these matches, the quicker you can get them that information.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
You said that you're okay with the win. Would you recommend that our viewers or listeners rewatch from?
No, I do not recommend
Rumble?
anyone to rewatch this. I'm not a fan of tag team battle royals.
The Royale Rumble.
Just because it's like very jam packed full of people, and I have yet to see anyone that produces these type of battle royals with tag teams good enough for you to like follow everything.
Ooh, that's good to know. I can't say that I'm a fan of a Royal Rumble, but if you are watching or listening and you're a fan of a Royal Rumble, leave a comment, let us know. Were you a fan of this match? Did you watch it? Did you attend? Were you there? Very curious to know.
Yeah.
So with that, we're saying do not revisit this.
No, do not revisit the first match of WrestleMania 14, please.
Okay, so with that takes us to match numero dos. The second match with
takamichinoku, who is the first, I believe it's called the light heavyweight title,
right?
Champion, versus Aguila, a luchador. Yeah, and it is for the light heavyweight championship. Now, this is the first and only defense of the first light heavyweight championship belt.
Oh.
This belt was created to compete with WCW, who had the cruiserweight championship belt, which is for the quote unquote lighter wrestlers, like the wrestlers that probably weigh like 200 pounds, because to be a heavyweight, they had this stigma where you had to be at least 300 pounds.
I mean, it makes sense. These guys were lightweight, they're a little shorter, very agile, and I was here for the wrestling.
Yeah, so
I mean, Taka's wrestling gear is pretty awesome, by the way.
Wasn't it just the pants? And
he had his whole headgear. His outfit was just like,
oh, you mean
cool.
El Aguila?
No, I think it was Taka.
Taka only had pants.
He only had pants?
Yeah.
Am I getting him confused?
Yeah, Aguila is the guy you were probably thinking of.
Uh-oh. So with that, who are you rooting for?
I think with this one, seeing these guys come out, it would have been Aguila.
Okay.
And I was thinking that this Aguila guy was kind of familiar to me.
Right.
And at first, I thought he was a wrestler that was in WCW and did Lucha Libre, which is called Psychosis, because of the way his hair is sticking out from his mask.
Oh,
but it ended up being a wrestler we see later on, and introduces a very popular valet slash diva wrestler. But he comes in later on as papichulo or essarios. So this match goes for 5 minutes and 57 seconds. I told you my pick. What about your pick, Maria?
Wait, tell me again. Who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for Aguila.
Okay, and I'm rooting for Taka.
Okay.
So we hear the commentators say Brian Kendricks can beat both of them at the same time. So I'm like, okay, not sure what all that's about, but this match is a great match. Easily one of my favorite matches.
Yeah, this is one that was surprisingly pretty good. As far as, like what we've seen before.
Right.
Even like with the women matches, this was like something different. And I believe it was I probably would have preferred for Vince to start out with this match than with the tag team battle royal.
I could see that. I mean, this was an excellent match. Their moves were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They worked together really well. And this is definitely one of my favorites and definitely a recommended
Yeah,
rewatch.
me too.
I am a fan of, like lucha wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just super cool to see. They work together well. I thought it was a good part of the WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of would have probably wanted this to go maybe like another 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay, so you're saying longer than the
Yeah,
5
just
minutes and 57
yeah, maybe like a
seconds?
good 10-minute match probably would have been good.
Okay, I can see that.
If they could switch this up, but because even in that battle royal, as much as you had like the Legion of Doom there,
Right.
the audience and the fans aren't really into it right now. So
I was definitely into it.
yeah, but yeah, do yourself a favor if you have not seen takamichinoku
Mhm.
or Aguila, or as he's known later on as essarios or papichulo.
Ooh.
This is like one of the like few times I believe papichulo essarios, because he doesn't come back as Aguila, and a future WrestleMania has one of his good matches.
Okay.
He does unfortunately become like a jobber
Oh.
to like even like to the bigger guys, even though he's a cruiserweight or
Mhm.
a light heavyweight, they still put him up against the heavyweight people, and he just just loses and just like cannon fodder for those guys. So
Wow. That's really and I can't wait to watch like more of him because
yeah.
I'm so curious.
Yeah. So the next thing that we have is an interview with Jennifer Flowers interviewing The Rock.
Right, Jennifer
What did you think
Flowers.
about this interview? Was it necessary?
I mean, he has a couple of items that he calls out. So, like you said, this interview with Jennifer Flowers, some people, well, it's Jennifer Flowers and the People's Intercontinental Champ,
Yeah.
The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
As we recall, he was going by Rocky Maivia in WrestleMania 13.
Yeah, just the previous year, he was going as his father's name, Rock,
Mhm.
uh, uh, and then his grandfather's last name, Maivia.
Yeah.
And he's already shunned his culture away
No,
to
don't
be.
say that.
I mean,
But
he
I
he
mean,
had to because of the booze.
the
But
Go ahead.
even though he shuns his background, like that whole third generation honoring his culture and everything like that,
Okay.
the people are still booing him. I still hear Rocky suck chants throughout this whole, like, even when he's doing this interview, he's not even in the match, and I still hear Rocky suck chants. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I think Rock is acting like a heel during
Mm-hmm.
the interview, but we definitely know he's a sweetie pie. I like that she is talking about him running for the White House.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched his other show where he is running for the White House,
Young Rock, which
Young-
only has 3 seasons. Now that the actors are back, maybe we'll be able to get another 4th season from NBC, Universal,
fingers crossed.
and Peacock.
Oh,
Hey, if
please.
anyone manages to get these 2 executives, please give me at least one more season of Young Rock.
Just to wrap it up.
They're only like 12 or 13 episodes.
Yes.
I mean, I'll Venmo you some like $5 or something like that.
But also, let's talk about the guy that interviews him. What's his name?
No, it's Jennifer Flowers.
No, but like during the actual show, Young Rock, who's the one that's interviewing
Oh,
him?
I forgot what his name is, but he's in Fresh Off the Boat.
He's awesome.
And then he was in that movie that they made where they made fun of Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-il.
He was also in The Office too.
Yes, he was the Asian version of Jim.
But also he was in WandaVision.
Yes, he was.
And I feel terrible forgetting his name because he's definitely like a favorite actor of his. So we'll add it in the comments once we look that up.
Yeah, I mean, I could look that up now if you want to just talk about people.
I hear that Jennifer Flowers may or may not have, or allegedly have been
an affair of Bill Clinton.
Yes, which I had no idea. Is that true? Or is
I'm
that
not sure.
true?
You would have to tell me. Did you do the research?
No, I didn't. I was just kind of like, is that just something that they're throwing out there, or why would they bring her on? But there was like a lot of questions as to why that should be brought onto WrestleMania 14, which I thought was, like pretty interesting. So did you get anything from the interview, or was it kind of just like...
I think it was more just to sell The Rock as the heel.
Okay.
And also continue that. Randall Park, sorry to interrupt my thought. Randall Park is the name of the actor.
Sorry,
I'm
Randall.
sorry, Randall. We love
definitely
you.
love you. We
Yeah,
do.
but we forgot your name while we're talking about wrestling.
That's true.
But it's meant for you. They're still trying to push The Rock.
Yes.
But they're trying to push The Rock like as a heel.
Okay.
So this interview is for you to like see The Rock be an a-hole, talk like he's an a-hole. That's why we're like, what do you think about the homeless population? They're like, yeah, the homeless population is
He did
okay.
say that. I'm like,
He's
that
like,
was...
I don't care if they live in a fridge or a Kenmore box as long as they stay out of my home over there in South Beach.
And
So
I'm like, that would never be The Rock for sure.
not in real life as we
Not
know
in real
him,
life.
but
Not in people.
But as the character of The Rock, yeah,
That was...
yeah, maybe Dwayne or Dewey, as his mom would call him.
That's really cute.
But
that's appropriate for his heel character or his persona. Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what this is. Like, they're kind of like, even though people are booing them, Vince is like, I don't know if it's Vince. It might be someone else that's like writing this type of program for him. But they're doing a great job to like subtly get The Rock over, but as a bad guy.
Right.
So it's very interesting. I this interview you might think is probably nothing, but it's secretly building like the ultimate bad guy in my opinion.
I will say I thought it was everything because I loved how sassy he was during this interview. So I really enjoyed it. And anytime I could see The Rock, I'm here for it. So with that,
we move on to match number 3, which is Triple H. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yes, the third.
Who is a member of D-Generation X.
Do
now, do you know why it's called D-Generation X?
No, I actually don't. Tell me more.
Well, before this, and we're thinking about revisiting Survivor Series, in particular, just the match of the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh, yes. I keep on hearing about it.
We're trying to narrow down a time we might pull that instead of putting our WrestleMania 15. But if you're interested in that, we'll be announcing that maybe a little bit later on today or maybe tomorrow, Sunday. But Bret Hart is the one that calls HBK a degenerate.
Oh.
And that he's paraphrasing that he's like a quote unquote degenerate that doesn't deserve the belt. So HBK just goes with it. And back then popular it was Generation X.
Right.
So he's like, we'll call ourselves D-Generation X.
Wow, that's a good one.
Because they're degenerate.
Okay, I'm cool with that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's why now he's now going. Even though it has Hunter Hearst Helmsley as they still introduce him,
yes.
It's just on the graphic, it just says HHH.
Triple H.
So he's still not Triple H, but it's getting there.
I like
it's
his
moving.
Outfit. I mean, his wrestling gear is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. He has a hard time like getting that robe situation off, but he looks super cool. Definitely an upgrade from WrestleMania 13. So that was pretty cool. And then we have his valet, China.
His valet bodyguard. I believe they were still dating at this time too.
Shut up! Is that serious? Like that's real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
I'm shook.
You're shook. Versus Triple H. So it's Triple H versus the only heart that's left.
Yes.
And the only heart that I'll miss very greatly and dearly, Owen Hart.
What about Bret?
Bret's okay, but
Bret, I'm a fan of you. I'm here for you.
He's okay.
Here for your brother,
like,
but also here for you.
I miss Owen. I miss you, Owen.
We understand. So at 11 minutes and 29 seconds, we have a singles match for the WWF European Championship.
Yes.
What's the European Championship? Like me.
It's just like a title they made up, like in boxing, they would have like different championships. Like there's an IBF, which is the International Boxing Federation. One, there's a WBA, which is the World Boxing Association, and a WBO, which is the World Boxing Organization.
Now you're just showing off. That's really good. How do you remember all these? All I remember is IBS, which is a terrible name to
IBS.
have.
Yes. But but some of those belts have like a regional thing, like the European version. So Vince is like trying to get more into like having like an international crowd, because I believe WCW had another version of this,
Yes,
uh, which I don't remember what the name is.
we'll find out.
But if you are watching, or even if you're watching us on the replay, feel free to drop a comment on our YouTube channel on what it is, unless I'm able to find it by the end of this podcast.
So I can understand why everybody is talking about this being the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Mhm.
Because like you said, we are starting with Triple H, Mr. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I like to say that name. And he gets pyro and tells everyone to suck it. What's why I'm like, Attitude Era is correct.
Yeah, right.
Also we get a Sergeant Slaughter. So I was excited to see Sergeant Slaughter. He handcuffs himself to China.
Yeah, I bet he was happy about that, huh?
Yeah, so we see TH. Can I call him TH?
Who's TH?
Um, tri-
Oh, you want to call him? You just
Triple
call him. You
H?
just call him Hunter.
Should
If
I
you
call him
just call him
no
Hunter,
abbreviations?
you
Okay.
could.
My mouth was doing weird things when I was saying that. So he makes his way to the ring with his theme played by the DX band.
Yeah, and then did you find out anything about the DX band or no?
No, only that same information I was telling you guys before, where people weren't too pleased about their music. And no shade to the DX band. I'm sure y'all are great. I just haven't had an opportunity to check out your music. So Hart gets a cut to his nose from a boot to the face.
Did he?
Yes.
I did not see that. Did you actually see that, or did you just found that in the notes?
No, one, I saw it, but two, some people were saying that his nose was actually broken, which I haven't confirmed, so I don't want to say. I know who I'm rooting for during this match. Who are you rooting for?
I think I was rooting for Hunter.
Okay. Who do you think I was rooting for?
I think you were probably rooting for Owen.
I was.
Yeah.
I was definitely rooting for Owen. And you tell me while we're watching this that Bret Hart left to WCW at this time.
Yeah, he's already made his way over to, I guess, greener pastures, according to him. Like, as far as his head, he's got more money and he'll probably get a push there, but it really isn't greener pastures. But yeah, he's over there in Ted Turner land.
So what do you think about this match?
I thought it was okay. I'm not sure like if there was no chemistry. This match does go for 11 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yeah.
Which to me is like kind of an average like time, anywhere from like 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
To me as a fan is an average time where you get like they bail on a match. Like if they don't see like anything happening.
Right.
Like either the crowd's not reacting or they just can't get anything going as far as like getting the audience involved.
Why haven't we seen a match that's like 1 minute and 10 seconds like some of our previous WrestleManias?
Well, I think it's because at this point in time, they're not pressed for time. Right now we have only 8 matches in this pay-per-view.
Oh, before we used to have about
and
12,
before we
right?
used to have like 12,
Okay.
13. And I think at one time there was like 16 matches.
Shit.
So, and I think that was WrestleMania 14 because they had that tournament.
So do you think the sweet spot is about 8 matches?
It depends on how it's all laid out.
Okay.
Because they do, like I mentioned to you before, they do workshop these matches.
Right.
So depending on how they're working with their opponent, they can make these matches go from what my standard is like the 8 to 10 minutes, like bail on the match, nothing else, nothing's working. We worked on this match for like a whole month or however, a couple of months, and nothing's working. To let's go ahead and push it to like 20 or 25 minutes. So,
oh man, those 20-minute matches, 25-minute matches.
Yeah, so it's just, I think sometimes it's just a matter of how type of reaction they're getting from the crowd.
So we see China throw white powder into Slaughter's face, and good throwback to Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, I believe so, because that is something that we probably had talked about. People always said that it was like the ceremonial song from the
When
sumo
they're sumo,
wrestlers when they
yeah.
used to do that. But I always, but my thing is where was she keeping that talc or that gripping powder that gymnastics use? Because she's not wearing like anything with pockets in it.
You know what? That's a
And
good
I tried
question.
looking
Did
on
you
like on
watch it
this like I spent like a lot of time trying to pinpoint
when she got
when
it?
she got it, like if a fan handed it to her, because
Yeah.
normally sometimes you'll have like people or family planted in the audience near the
What?
ring,
That's
like to
cool.
give them things,
Yeah.
and but she doesn't. I think the only thing is she had it hidden in her nether regions
No.
because
No.
she reaches down at one
I'm gonna
point.
find out
She reaches
where
down inside of her
I'm gonna find
nether region
no.
area, and then all of a
One
sudden
day,
I
like,
see her working on her,
well,
and then like a minute later she's throwing dust at Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh my god. We're gonna find out what the real story is. Hopefully we can find out and
I'll
we'll talk
show it to you later, and then where I
for
think
me
it's
to
yeah
like
for you to see
rewatch.
where I
I feel
yeah.
like we rewatched it twice. You rewatched it several times, but we will rewatch it again.
Yeah, so yeah, I finally got it here. It's the WCW International World Heavyweight Championship. So
Okay. So Triple H lands a pedigree,
yeah, he lands a pedigree after the distraction from China.
which I'm excited because that's his finishing move.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get any type of false finishes or anything like that. This was a pretty clear cut match.
Right.
He had the heel, Triple H, but he's kind of uh like cheered by the crowd.
I feel like he
Everyone's
is.
like all this anti-establishment and rooting for the bad guy here.
Yeah.
And no one's giving any love to Owen.
Well, one of the things I heard
Mhm.
is that Vince and thought that people were kind of over either rooting for a good guy or rooting for a bad guy, which I thought
Mhm.
was
I was
very
gonna point that
interesting.
out. Go ahead.
Because I've been curious about the Attitude Era, why, what's going on, when did it start, why is this like the WrestleMania, the beginning of it, this match in particular,
Mhm.
one of the catalysts for it. So all of that's been super cool and super interesting to me because I nerd out on shit like that.
Mhm.
Um, so with that said, and we're watching this match, you don't think that this is a great revisit? Is that right?
No, because it's not a good match by Owen,
Yeah.
and it's not really like a good match by Hunter. Like maybe if he would have lost to Owen
Okay.
or like did more to get Owen to be like more cheered or rooted for by the crowd,
Right.
but like you pointed out, and something that Vince pointed out from what you were quoting,
Hmm.
is this is entering an era where we won't know who's a heel and who's a baby face, which I feel is very, very important.
Like
And when
Stone
you're
Cold.
when you're trying to tell a story through a wrestling match,
Hmm.
you need to have someone that
Who's your hero?
90% of the crowd needs to root for,
Right.
because at that point in time then you have more of these crowds divided, because it could be 50% Owen or it could be, in this instance, 50% Triple H, even though it was probably more than 50%. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, Triple H got a pretty good rousing um
I gotta
cheer from the audience when he came out.
And I agree with you. This is not a favorite match for me.
Hmm.
I thought Owen had some really strong moves, and I wish he would have won. What about you? Do
Yeah,
you wish
that's
he
what I
would have
was
won
like. I
too?
wish he would have won. And like that's why I told you, like, the only way this match probably would have been better
Mhm.
is if it didn't have this type of finish, or
Right,
if Owen was able to overcome the odds. Like, yeah, Sergeant Slaughter is like, here, I'm gonna handcuff myself to China so she doesn't interfere.
right.
But you can still make it where even though she interferes, Owen still finds a way to come through, and that'll probably be like even more that he gets the European Championship back that he lost because of the interference of China and things like that.
I agree with you.
But that didn't happen.
Yeah,
here.
so we're splitting on that. Not a favorites, not a revisit, but if you are interested in watching the career of either a Triple H or an Owen, watch it. Not one of our faves. And with that, that takes us to match number 4.
Yeah, we have Marvelous Mark Merrill versus and Sable versus the artist or the wrestler formerly known as Goldust
Silver
and Luna Vachon.
Yes.
This match goes 9 minutes 11 seconds.
Mixed tag team match.
It's a mixed tag team match. It's I believe the second one we have at WrestleMania, with the previous one being performed by Goldust's father, Dusty Rhodes, and Sapphire, which I think at least at this time she's already passed away, because I heard one of the announcers say the late Sapphire.
Wow. I have a question. Are you a fan of Dusty? I haven't really.
Of Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah.
I would have to say no.
No?
Just because I have not seen, like, everyone was able, like, older than me,
Right.
like our friend, our current, like, our, one of our contributors, Raymond, who's gets a chance to interact with us live.
Right.
He's watched him and able to watch him a little bit more than we were, like, either by wrestling in when he was wrestling in NWA or WCW or maybe in GCW, Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of access on my own, like in our family, to any type of those cables. So,
yeah, now that you're talking about that, and I've been like reading into these different people, and we'll talk about it later in the Road Warriors. I'm kind of curious about that era of wrestling now that we're like going historical. We're going back in history. Just to see some of that even older wrestling, because I'm a sucker for a biography, a documentary.
If you guys have you guys out there, our viewers, our listeners, if you guys want my wife Maria to, or myself, to get more educated on the older wrestlers, such as Dusty Rhodes, any of the Andersons, old Anderson, Gorgeous George, and Bruno Sammartino. Nate, if you happen to watch this, who's going to be our next guest for WrestleMania 15. Yes. I know you're a big Bruno Sammartino fan, so if you have any matches that I could probably see on Peacock or on YouTube, please feel free to send them over. But this point in time, we're going to this mixed tag team match.
Yeah, so we see Vachon running around the outside of the ring with Sable chasing her. Until finally the artist, formerly known as Goldust, tags her back in.
Yeah, now before we get to this more any deeper, we forgot to ask you who you were rooting for.
Who am I rooting for?
I'm assuming it's going to be Marvelous Mark Merrill and Sable.
It really was. Okay. Yeah, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, I would probably have to root for them, even though I probably was like, I'm going to bail and
watch something else.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, I did not see this one like live when it was on pay-per-view, so I had to rewatch this either the next day or when I rented it. I don't remember.
Wow, you rented it from like a Blockbuster, like
my local video store at the time. Yeah.
So children that are watching, there used to be places called video stores, like a Blockbuster, where you could pull tags off the VHS that you were interested in watching, take it to your cashier. They would give you that VHS, and then you'd be able to take it home to watch. And if you didn't rewind, you might get charged. So
yeah, I think it was a 50-cent rewind fee when I started renting VHS tapes.
Wow, technology.
And guys. I think when Blockbuster came along, it was like either $1.50 or $2.
So just to appreciate that we can just pretty much stream anything nowadays because before that used to be like 1 a walk, 2 a car ride, and 3 like a physical purchase, and you'd have to look through the aisles to see what you were interested in watching.
Yeah, and
So
then if someone had already beat you to the punch, you'd have to find something else to watch.
that's really true. If they were all out of those VHSs.
Yeah.
So we get a running crossbody from Marrow, and following this, we see them run into each other.
Mhm.
So we get a tag in from Luna and Sable, which I thought that was pretty cool. What did
Mhm.
you think about this?
I think about this match, as much as like Mark Merrill and Goldust are working,
Mhm.
no one could like stop the force that is all the Sable fans. Like there was just something
There were
where people
tons.
were just like wanted to see Sable. They did
Yeah.
not care what Goldust was doing. They did not care what Mark Merrill was doing. And
I mean, come
as
on, girl.
what
Because,
can you do? It's
yeah, I mean, and I agree with the fans because that was my favorite part of this match is seeing them wrestle.
Sable and Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, that was my favorite part too, is just seeing those ladies go at it. And as far as this match is concerned, as we normally say, is it a revisit or a like favorite, or is it a recommendation? Um, I'm borderline. Like if you want to see, like, the only best part of this is probably towards the end, because Sable does a great job towards the finish, where she manages to get Luna up for like a power bomb. And even when Luna like kicks out, she manages to get her up for that TKO finisher that was for Mark Merrill.
Mhm.
And I was just impressed because Sable hadn't had like that much like in-ring experience at that point in time.
Wow.
So like, even though she was married to Mark Merrill and she's probably like got some training by Mark Merrill,
Mhm.
just being able to like get that done in front of like an audience that big, which is like, what'd you say,
Over
18,000?
18,000.
So
Yeah.
and like not actually getting anyone hurt, because as much as like you practice that, there could always be issues where um something happens.
Mhm.
And like she made it seem like she's been wrestling and been doing those type of moves, and she probably has, because Luna has like very great background, and not only like wrestling herself, but
Right.
she trained, and and so she probably helped Sable get like those moves over.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Marrow's moves. He moves. He's doing what he needs to do. Um, but wow, the best part of this match, like Carlos said, is Sable giving Luna a whooping. I was satisfied with the win. Is it a rewatch for me? Like maybe the last few minutes,
Yeah.
like rewatch the last few minutes. And the crowd loved this part of the match, like Carlos said. So was it a revisit for us? No. But if you are interested, watch the last few minutes
Yeah,
where
it's only
Luna.
like a 9-10 minute match. So if you're going down WrestleMania lane and you're like, let me watch WrestleMania 14 and I have 10 minutes until my food gets delivered or whatever, feel free to throw this on. I mean, it's not very like a very disappointing match.
Yes.
There is some good technical work,
Mhm.
and it's being done by Goldust, or the artist formerly known as Goldust,
Yes.
and Mark Merrill, but it's just not enough to encapsulate or to entertain the crowd. They
Right.
just want Sable, Sable, Sable,
Yeah, they're
Sable.
chanting for her, right?
So
So, yeah. With that, it takes us to match number 5.
yeah, we finally get the Rock
Yes.
with the Nation
The
of
people's champ.
Domination. We are the Nation. And versus Ken Shamrock. He's no longer a special guest referee. He is now officially a WWE superstar.
Wow.
This match goes for 4 minutes and 49 seconds.
Right.
What did you think, babe?
Well, first of all, we have Jennifer with the G because it's
Yeah.
not Jennifer with the J, it's Jennifer with the G.
Mm-hmm.
Flowers, accompanied by Jeff Jarrett and a Tennessee Lee, who's serving as our special guest ring announcer.
Yeah, Jennifer Flowers. Yeah. I
Kind
believe Tennessee Lee was supposed to be like Jeff Jarrett's version of Colonel the guy
I was gonna say Colonel
no,
Sanders.
I forgot what his name. Nate's gonna kill me because we talked about him, but the guy who was Elvis's manager. So that's
Ooh,
pretty
that's a
much
good one.
how they're trying to be. So
I mean, I love this match. Early on, we get a people's elbow, which is,
mhm.
from The Rock.
It's the most electrifying move in sports entertainment
And I understand
at
why.
that time. I'm
Oh.
not sure if it's still today, but normally The Rock would say it's the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today.
I love his faces and I love his wrestling finesse.
Mhm.
So, with that, as far as the match is concerned, we see Shamrock grab a steel chair from outside of the ring.
Yeah, this match takes it outside, right?
Yeah, I mean, the ref tries to take it off of him and gets tossed into the corner. So, what do you think about this match?
I thought it was okay. Like this match it really doesn't seem like to help Shamrock. And even though Shamrock is this is a match where you see like this is a heel and this is the good guy technically. But the way this match finishes, yeah, The Rock taps out,
Right?
he gives up and he leaves his belt. But for some reason, the face, quote unquote, who was supposed to be Ken Shamrock, loses all control and just wants to keep the ankle lock on Ken Shamrock. I mean on The Rock.
So you're saying he was out of luck during this match then?
He was out of luck with the decision he gets
Oh,
at the end, but
okay.
not in this match because he got the result. He is the Intercontinental Champion.
I mean, I do like that we're getting some suplexes from the Shamrock.
Yeah,
It's
those
like
belly to
you get a
bellies and things.
suplex, you
Yeah.
get a suplex, you get a suplex. So and then one of my favorites, again, Mark Henry, he also gets suplex.
Yeah, and he does help out Ken Shamrock to get that belly to belly suplex because he does do a little bit of jumping, but it's got to be done. And just to add to my tidbit, Colonel Parker, Tennessee Lee was Jeff Jarrett's version of Colonel Parker. But
Mm.
yeah, so this match, I really don't see this as a recommendation for me.
Do I need to ask you who you're rooting for?
I would have been rooting for The Rock because, yeah, Ken Shamrock. It's like you would hear him talk, and this is just like, is he the world's most dangerous man? Which he like gets billed as after. I believe it's not after this. It's like a little bit more down the road. Is because of the way he lashes out, and you never know what's gonna happen and things like
I think
that.
of like a Vader, like an Undertaker, or like
Those guys would be the
a
world's
Kane.
dangerous men.
When I'm thinking of like the world's most dangerous men in wrestling,
Mhm.
that's who I think of. So with that,
Yeah,
who
did you like the way this match ends up being reversed because of Ken Shamrock not wanting to let go of the ankle lock? There's like everyone from the Nation of Domination coming in here. Even Farouk
yeah, we get a
comes
reversal
down,
from Farouk.
but he ends up leaving because of that chair shot that The Rock gave him a little bit. May think when they show the video on the pay per view is like 2 weeks ago,
Right.
but he ends up bailing on The Rock because The Rock gave him a chair shot.
I think this is a really good match. Worth a revisit. One of my favorites. Also, like you said, did you say Shamrock is disqualified?
Yeah, the decision ends up being that the ref disqualifies Ken Shamrock
Hmm.
because he does not want to let go of any of the holds when the match is already over. So those shouldn't even be like anything that the ref should be considering. The match is over. You called the match.
Right.
It's just after match shenanigans, and it really should not like be like any type of penalty if you want to keep. If that's the case, then any champion after this should be like getting their title championship reigns reversed. But
speaking of after match shenanigans, we also see The Rock in a stretcher, don't we?
yeah, the match. And for someone who lost the title, why is he still holding on to the title? He's like on the gurney holding up his championship belt.
And then he gets tossed off of it.
Yeah, because Ken Shamrock is not happy that the decision was reversed.
So I thought this match was cool. Definitely worth a rewatch. What about you? I'm so curious.
No, I do not recommend anyone rewatch this.
Okay, we all know that I'm definitely a big fan of The Rock. I really enjoyed seeing Mark Henry. The Shamrock, okay. Definitely a revisit for me. And so with that takes us to match 6.
Match 6, which is the dumpster match.
Which, hold on to your butts, guys, because this was a really fucking awesome match.
I love this match. I can't wait to talk about this, but we have the New Age Outlaws, the Road Dog, Jesse James,
yes,
and the badass Billy Gunn, who's still going at it at the age of 61.
You got a badass right here too.
Ooh.
Oh.
Versus Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
He was Mankind just last year at WrestleMania, and now he comes back with one of his other personas as Cactus Jack.
Alter ego.
Bang bang.
Yeah, I'm here for all his
and Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about WrestleMania 12 years ago, you would have seen him. And pretty much the announcers give it away too, because or not the announcers, but the Road Dogg, because he calls out Terryfunk. And that's who Chainsaw Charlie is. It's Terryfunk, and JR, that's the cat out of the bag too, that it's Terryfunk.
That's one of two funks that I like.
Yeah, so this is pretty much a match, the dumpster match, where you have to get an opponent in the dumpster.
Yes.
But you also have to close the lid on them.
Yes. Cerrado.
Yeah, so that's the only way you win this match. This match goes for 10 minutes.
1 second.
Yeah.
It's really random.
Yeah, I think it's just, we'll just call it 10 minutes.
Who timed that?
I don't know.
But like you said, think about the logistics of getting two of your opponents in and then dumpster lids down. But this match was so good. It reminds me of like on the same level of the ladder match that we saw. So this is like a really epic match that we're still talking about today because it was so great.
Yeah, so I mean, we do get a ladder in this match, and I think that was like the best spot in here. Like I don't remember watching this, but when I saw the ladder, I'm like, why the hell are you putting up the ladder near like the edge of the ring?
Right.
And then it clicked. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna go in the dumpster. And man, that's, I mean, I thought like that was a great spot, but also when I think Billy Gunn power bombs Terryfunk into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you don't think that this match is amazing, if you didn't know, you better call somebody.
Yeah.
New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
So who are you rooting for?
I would have probably been rooting for the Road Dogg and New Age Outlaws. What about yourself?
I'm rooting for Cactus Jack and
Cactus
Chainsaw.
Jack?
I can't say it. I'm rooting for Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
Talk about being down in the dumps. I like when Mick reaches out of the dumpster and grabs Road Dogg. Also, like you said, you see a ladder, but why are there baking sheets? I'm like, who the hell is baking so much during WrestleMania 14?
And why are they in the dumpster?
Why are they in the I'm like, I mean, this is really great. And like you said, we see a ladder, we see baking sheets, we see a pole that's also in the ring. The ref says that this is not a ladder match. And then they go flying, like Carlos said, into the dumpster.
Yeah, and they break like those lids of the dumpster, like the hard plastic lid that they have.
I mean, even if you're doing like a gentle flying from a high ladder, that shit still hurts.
Yeah.
I was ouching in pain. I'm like, I just don't understand how after that they keep on going.
Right.
I'm like, even if it was planned, holy shit, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Or
And
should I say holy sheets? Because of all the pan sheets. Poor Terry Funk. I mean, he was getting wrecked in this match.
Yeah, for someone that's 53, he's still going in here, right?
Oh.
He's doing a great job and taking those hits.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many points during this match where I'm like clenching my body because I'm bracing for the pain. I don't understand how they just keep on going.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible match.
Yeah, and this match finishes off in the back,
Right.
towards I guess like in like not the locker room area, but like where like they pick up the actual trash. They have like maybe like a 10 or 12-foot high dumpster.
Right.
And as Cactus Jack is luring the New Age Outlaws back there, all of a sudden, I don't know where you got this
Forklift?
that got all this energy from,
Oh.
because he just got power bombed into the dumpster. Terry Funk shows up and he is forklift qualified, and he lifts
Forklift look cute.
yeah, he lifts up the New Age Outlaws into that dumpster, and he also puts the forks on there to make sure they don't get out. And we have new tag team champions.
No fork with him.
Yeah.
Please do yourself a favor and revisit this
Yeah, if
match.
you are not a fan of the cruiserweights, you should be a fan of this dumpster match, because this was very, very, very well done.
I thought it was really well done. Easily one of my favorite matches, not only of this WrestleMania, but just
Mhm.
in general. I was just really impressed with this match, and I will be talking about it for a while.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the next match we have is the Undertaker, right?
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the roaddogg?
You could. Now you could.
Just a little
I
bit?
thought you were gonna get to that earlier, but go ahead.
I forgot about it.
You were so excited to talk about the dumpster match, you forgot to talk about the tidbits of the road dog, Jesse James.
Just a few tidbits about Road Dogg, Brian Gerard James.
Oh, you didn't know?
He was a Marine.
Yes, he was.
So, I mean, again, today is.
It's Veterans Day.
So, thank you to my veteran. Thank you to this veteran.
The road dog, Jesse James.
Jesse James. And thank you to all you veterans. If you're watching, to you or your family or your friends that have served.
Thank you for your service, everyone. Don't also forget to thank your recruiters. If you didn't get accidentally recruited by them, you would not have known how great it is to be a veteran.
So, with that said, Road Dogg was trained by Bob Armstrong, Brad Armstrong, Paul Orndorff.
Orndorff.
Orndorff,
Mr.
sorry.
Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, sorry about that. Bob Armstrong's his dad, and Brad Armstrong, I believe, is his brother.
What about
Go ahead.
their other brother, Stretch
You're
Armstrong?
Right. Oh, no, shut up. You got me. No, but he does have other brothers that are wrestlers. You got me. So his dad was a wrestler. His name was Bullet Bob Armstrong, and his brothers were also wrestlers.
You're talking about
Bob.
Yes, but Bob Armstrong is a brother of the Road Dogg?
Bob is his father. And he was inspired to wrestle when he was taken to a match by his father, and he saw Gorgeous George wrestle way back when.
Okay.
And that piqued his interest to wrestle, which I thought was pretty cool.
Out of all the people to inspire you to wrestle, I find that Gorgeous George would have been the strangest, but also the most interesting, just because of the way I know. I've never seen a Gorgeous George match, but I know that his reputation,
right?
And it's more of how we seen Adrian Adonis be, and how we're seeing Goldust be. So, but it's a little bit earlier in the 1900s, so.
Which is awesome. I think it's super cool. And Road Dogg's other names are BG James, Brian Armstrong, the Dark Secrets, Jesse James Armstrong, Road Dogg, the Roadie.
The Roadie, who we just saw at WrestleMania 11, help out Jeff Jarrett get that win over the bad guy, Razor Ramon, right?
Yeah, so those are just a few of the tidbits that I have. A few wrestlers here and there pique my interest where I have to do a little bit of a deep dive on them just to get more information. But with that takes us to match 7.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of this WrestleMania revisit with WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
So if you want to go ahead and keep going, we have Undertaker versus Kane.
Hell yeah, I want to keep going.
Which is supposedly Undertaker's brother who's got scarred in a fire.
Is that why he's wearing the mask?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Jerry and JR did not keep hammering that information that Kane could be disfigured underneath that mask for the duration of 17 minutes and 5 seconds this match goes.
We get Pete Rose.
Yeah, we get Pete Rose, who's not even from or he didn't even play in Boston. He was a Cincinnati Red. He's randomly here in the Boston, like what is this now called? Because I know it's the TD Water Garden, but
what was it?
The Fleet Center
time? Let me see.
I think it's the Fleet Center.
Yeah, you're right. The Fleet Center.
So he's randomly there and he's talking all this smack about how Boston sucks, like the baseball team, and he names all the players that the like Bostonians would blame for them not winning the championship.
Right.
Like Bucky, was it Bill Buckner?
Bill Buckner.
Yeah, and I think Bucky Dent was another guy that they used to blame too. But yeah, so and then
well, what's interesting is that after he insults the home team and introduces Kane, he gave him a tombstone pile driver. And this started a try-year tradition. So.
Yeah, it goes on for, I believe, for a few years, which is a try-year. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, few.
Try it. You try it out. Try now.
Yeah, try now, buy later. But yeah.
Or buy now, then you try later.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you think?
I mean, like, what an entrance. The Undertaker has a group of druids walking with torches to the tune of Oh Fortuna. That came out weird. Oh Fortuna.
Yeah.
Oh Fortuna. I mean, it's very gothic and it's pretty cool. So I'm here for the intro.
Yeah, when I first read about this, I thought this was like the Undertaker has another entrance. And it's probably when he comes back, because after this WrestleMania, I think he's out until 2001 or 2002.
Oh, okay.
I may be wrong, but no, you know what? He's out. I think he misses 2000 and then he comes back in 2001. But he has like a real great entrance when they're doing like some type of chanting. Kind of like when Barney from How I Met Your Mother has all those monks chanting and they're talking about bro.
Yeah.
And they're chanting bro. And then it's something similar to that. So but I think that I like that Undertaker entrance the most.
What I don't like is Paul Bearer. He has changed, so he has no makeup, blonde hair, and no mustache.
Yeah, Paul Bearer has a great tan, right?
Also, he slapped the Undertaker while he was walking past him. I'm like, what the fudge? So that was a little crazy for me to see. What did you think about this match, and who were you rooting for?
I think in this one, I would have been rooting for The Undertaker.
Oh, okay. The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I was also rooting for The Undertaker during this match.
I think this match for 17 minutes goes a little long.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah, I don't recommend this match. Just because it's one of these things where it could have probably gone like 10 or 12 minutes.
Wow.
And they've probably been able to give you the same type of result.
I mean, even with The Undertaker smashing through the Spanish.
Yeah, the Undertaker does like a over-the-top rope suicide dive.
Okay.
Which Kane like sidesteps. And he breaks the Spanish announcers table.
Yeah.
and that starts like a domino effect because Carlos Cabrera falls,
Yeah, the way he
and,
fell.
and then
I
Hugo,
like the
as I call
Dunzos
him,
fall.
son of a bitch, but it's Savinovich, falls, and then that eventually leaves the last domino, which is Tito Santana, and Tito Santana eventually falls. But yeah.
That was a pretty good part of this match. Kane also hit Undertaker with the flying clothesline.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Undertaker kicked out after we see like a false finish. And you were saying that this match has a bunch of false finishes. So you
Yeah, towards
gotta
the end, there's like 3 tombstones that are done.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's the point where it probably should have ended, because after the first tombstone that the Undertaker gets done, the crowd is ready to cheer. And when Kane gets kicks out, it just like takes the like any type of momentum that the crowd has had after it's been built up.
Right.
And like they tried, like, Undertaker tombstones them again, and they're counting, but the crowd's just not into it. And when they get to 2, Kane kicks out again.
Yeah.
And it just feels like I understand that, like, having the false finishes is sometimes an integral part of storytelling,
Mhm.
but at this point, you have already gone like maybe 12, 13 minutes, like at the first time that Undertaker's going. And that's why I said this match goes a little bit too long, because that's the audience was ready for it. They were like, they had been built up. Kane had been taking it to Undertaker, and the Undertaker had fought back, and he had managed to get his tombstone pile driver on here. And they refused to give it to him the first time.
And The Undertaker wins this match, but
Mm-hmm.
did he really though? It doesn't feel like he won the match for me, and I would have given this match to Kane. What about you? Am I wrong?
If you're saying, do you give it to Kane just because of
All the moves that
the
he had?
afterwards,
Yeah, I
like
thought he did.
the melee or the beating that the Undertaker takes afterwards,
Hmm.
where he takes a chair shot, and even Paul Bearer gets a little bit of kicks in there too.
Hmm.
Like, did the Undertaker win? But yeah, in the record books, the Undertaker is still undefeated.
So I would say that this match to me, even though you say it went a little long, was worth a rewatch.
Okay, so this is one of your recommended matches?
Yes, and I would say revisit this match with us. I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I do not think that this was a match that you should revisit. There are still future Undertaker matches that you could probably, like, in WrestleMania form, like, go back and rewatch and probably get more satisfaction than this brother versus brother finally getting his revenge on the other one, even though he doesn't. But yeah, it's okay as far as, like, I just think it just runs a little bit too long.
So with that,
Yeah, with that one, we get to the main event.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Heartbreak Kid and the leader of Degeneration X, Shawn Michaels.
I will say I was watching an interview with Stone Cold and
Stone Cold?
Stone Cold?
Yeah.
And you made me forget Mike Tyson.
Mm.
And Mike Tyson actually called him Cold Stone.
Well, I think Mike Tyson's probably like the only guy who would get away with doing that
So that was
to
a
his
pretty
face.
interesting interview. I thought it was pretty cool because Stone Cold was basically telling him if we went face to face, I don't know how friendly I'd be in that match. So
Mike Tyson said that to him?
no, Stone Cold. And
Oh.
Mike Tyson was like, I'm basically the boss of my ring, and you're the boss of your ring, which I thought was pretty cool and a little spicy. So this is a singles match for the WWF
Yeah. So what did you think? Who were you rooting for?
Well, I mean, I was rooting for Stone Cold, but Shawn Michaels looks super cool. And you look at this guy and you're like, something about that guy, he just looks cool. So I was kind of, I don't know if you want to go into it, but I was a little sad to hear that he was hurting during this match.
Yeah, we could definitely go into it, but I think I had told you that maybe on WrestleMania 8 or 9
Yeah.
when you were asking me what was it about Shawn Michaels,
Yeah. I'm
and I
like, what
was
is it about
like,
Shawn Michaels?
I don't know what it is, but you're like, I like that guy. That guy's cool,
Yeah.
and I want to be just like him. And here you are.
I'm like, this guy's cool. I don't know what it is. He's just super cool.
But
Um,
yeah, my Shawn Michaels had suffered an injury
to his back,
to
right?
his back, I believe, in the casket match that he had with the Undertaker, which I believe that's the match that our previous guest Roger had brought up in WrestleMania 12.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
That
serious
is a good
injury.
match, but yeah. This pretty much has put Shawn like
Also, a good episode. So if you haven't had the opportunity to revisit that WrestleMania with us with Roger, definitely watch it. Roger was a great guest.
yeah,
So,
and we hope to have him back soon.
mhm,
But yeah, his back is pretty much gone.
right.
Uh, from what I've heard and what I read at the time, Shawn was like popping pills, and he was pretty much unbearable in the locker room because of the pain that he's been going through throughout this match. And I think he knew that this was going to be his last match,
Wow.
and he felt like one of these things where he had ushered in the Attitude era, as I had brought up maybe like 2 WrestleManias ago,
Hmm.
when he did have that Iron Man match with Bret Hart.
Right.
But other people say that this particular match is what ushered in the Attitude Era. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of suck it happening. So I'm like, okay, the Attitude Era has arrived. Or attitude era indeed. And I guess I wasn't paying attention because I don't even remember Mike Tyson's hair being this long ever in life. So that was pretty interesting just to see Mike Tyson out there looking super young and super cool at that time.
Hmm.
China with Shawn Michaels is okay. But like you said, I guess she was a couple with Triple H.
Right.
I thought she would have been a better belly for Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that would
Um,
make sense.
China, well, it was just a little weird to me, like the Triple H and China dynamic.
Is it
Um,
because Triple H is like kind of bigger than Shawn,
I don't know what
and
it
you don't feel
is.
like he needs like an enforcer or bodyguard like Shawn? Like Shawn is like a little bit shorter. He's a little bit more like,
Yeah, I
it's
don't.
not skinny, but it's more
I
like
think it's just chemistry. Like her
okay.
chemistry with him just seemed a little better. For me during this match, there were just too many cutaways during that intro. For Sean, and I wanted to like toss my cookies.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, when
I'm
he's
like,
walking in with the band
yeah, like it kept on
playing. Yeah.
like going to this,
Yeah,
shot,
it's
and this
cutting
shot.
back from like their prepackaged video that plays like they used to call it the Titantron.
Oh, okay,
Because when WWE had their own office
right.
before they got bought out by Endeavor. Or not really bought out. They merged with Endeavor to
Hmm.
make TKO Sports.
Wow.
Uh, the office that they lived in or that they worked out of was
Hmm.
called Titan Tower.
Right.
So
Is
the
that like the
screen that would show like the video or the music or whatever was associated with the wrestler was called the Titantron. So that's primarily like they show like what you saw today, like a pre-recorded type of montage to go along with the music of the wrestler.
okay?
So that's but they're flashing back on what you see on the Titantron and what you see in real life,
Yeah.
and it's just like
It was too much.
yeah,
I'm here for the history and here for a flashback. There was just a lot going on there. Also now I'm curious, what are the Teen Titans? What is their what is their base? Do you remember?
Titan Tower.
Titan Tower.
Yeah. So Teen Titans, if you're watching this, you have bone to pick with Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who also named his offices Titan Tower.
That's a good one. Or was it chicken or the egg? Which one came before the other?
Oh, we'll have to find out.
So I'm rooting for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
I mean, Shawn Michaels has great confidence, and we see Stone Cold hit Shawn with the standing clothesline, which is,
Mhm.
wow, look at that hit. We also see Austin was flipped over the top of the rope into Triple H and China.
Austin or Shawn?
I thought it was Austin, but I could be wrong.
I remember seeing Shawn being flipped over, but okay.
Now you make me want to rewatch it again.
Nah, don't worry about it.
So, so the dumpster is back.
Yeah, the dumpster. That was the original dumpster that they had for the dumpster match, and it's back because guess what? The ref is letting them play. Not only is interference allowed by Triple H before him and China get kicked out from ringside, but they're allowed to even go back into the entranceway and hit each other irregardless of any of the rules or any type of disqualifications or count outs.
Yeah. So, who did I ask you who you're rooting
I would
for?
have been
Shawn
rooting for
Michaels?
Shawn. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think about the match overall?
I think overall the match probably went a little bit long.
Right.
Uh, I know Shawn is in pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's like the pain that he's showing to you live during
Right.
this match, but it's all been documented. And this after he retires because of the pain that he has in his back,
Mm-hmm.
he still is addicted to those type of painkillers.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was just like the ego that Shawn has that made him think, hey, I built this company. I ushered in the Attitude Era. I need to go ahead and make this match work for as long as I have to because I'm not going to be able to enjoy any of this.
Yeah. I thought this was a solid match.
Yeah, this is a solid match. I recommend that you guys watch. It's not a favorite match of mine in this pay-per-view, but it is worth a watch mainly because of it's just Shawn is getting through this match and he's like doing his best to get Stone Cold over,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see him grimace, you could see him like holding his back a few times. Are you is it part of the work? And if it is, then Shawn did a great job, and that's pretty much what you should be doing if
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to get someone to be the go over. You know, you're trying to make that guy look good. So if he's hurting your back, and that's one of the reasons why you end up winning and things like that. Um, but yeah, psychologically, this match works mainly because of the selling that Shawn is doing. What
Right.
about you?
Well, I have a question. So, would you tell the audience that's listening or watching
Hmm.
to rewatch us,
Yeah,
revisit?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Mainly to just like see what was considered Shawn Michaels' last match. He does come back, spoiler alert, back in SummerSlam in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the last time that we had thought that we were going to see Shawn. And as much as, um, love Shawn, he did have a limited run as a champion. The first time he became a world heavyweight champion was WrestleMania 12, which would have been 2 years ago. And then so we would have probably had a total combined maybe of like 6 months or 8 months total of Shawn as a champion because he did relinquish his title before WrestleMania 13 because of his quote unquote ankle issue, which we have unable to confirm whether it was real or not.
Right. I mean, this match and hearing about him wrestling through his pains, and all those like super serious back issues just always reminds me of the physicality of wrestling. I myself even early on was like, wrestling, it's like a telenovela. But when you get down into it, and I've been watching these matches, I'm like, I mean, these are some pretty serious moves. We see luchas flying off the ropes. We see all of these wrestlers taking the hits. Matches like the dumpster match, and we hear people like Mick Foley or all of these wrestlers that put their everything to put on a good, like performance for the audience, for their fans, and it takes a toll on your body. So I can definitely appreciate that last match.
So you recommend that people revisit that match?
Was it a revisit for me? It was not on my list
Okay.
of revisits. Although I agree with you that it was a solid match.
Yeah, so that's very interesting.
Right?
But it's good to know. Like, why didn't it work for you?
It just wasn't, I want to say that it just wasn't one of like my favorite matches. I don't know what it was, because I could point out some of the other WrestleManias where I'm like, that specifically was a dud. I thought it was like a solid match, good wrestling. We hear about the effort that was put in by both. We also have Mike Tyson, celebrity, also introduced into this, which gives everybody a little bit of fanfare because, people are big fans of Mike Tyson.
Right.
He's a wrestling champion.
He's a boxing former.
Did I say wrestling?
Yes.
Oops.
Former.
He's a former boxing champion. And Mike Tyson now, I'm a fan of just hearing his stories. He seems pretty like
he's chill now.
He's chill now,
Yeah.
but just to hear him talk about his family and talk about his business and talk about things, I have an appreciation for Mike Tyson now. But with that, I will go into Maria's favorite matches.
All right.
My favorite matches are match 2, Taka Michinoku.
Yeah, takamichinoku versus El Águila.
A
or
19-year-old Aguila.
Right.
For WWF light.
For the light heavyweight championship.
At 5 minutes and 57 seconds.
Okay.
Match 5, The Rock, the People's Champion.
The Rock versus Ken Shamrock.
Dwayne Johnson, yep. With Nation of Domination.
Mm-hmm.
Singles match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship at 4 minutes and 49 seconds.
Okay.
Match 6, which was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe like my favorite match of this whole WrestleMania.
Like as after 10?
The second one was the lucha style match for this WrestleMania.
Yeah, for this WrestleMania, but you're making it seem like you're making like an early prediction that out of WrestleMania from
really good,
WrestleMania 11 to WrestleMania 20. Are you saying this is your favorite out of 11, 12, 13, and 14?
I have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Because the latter match was pretty good. Definitely a big fan of Mickfoley. And what about that bruise?
Oh, the bruise that
Chainsaw Charlie
/ terryfunk has after he gets power bombed.
Like, damn.
That is a bruise. I was trying to get this uploaded with pictures out of little key points, but unfortunately it was not coming through. So hopefully for next one we'll be able to have specific things to point out for you guys.
And then match 7 with the Undertaker and his brother Kane was my other favorite match.
Okay. All right. And as for me, I do have 3 matches that I recommend. I agree with Maria on 2 of them, which is the Taka Michinoku versus Aguila match. If you are a fan of fast-paced wrestling and lucha-style wrestling, and this is a match that I believe should have kicked off WrestleMania 14 rather than that Battle Royale number 1 contender match. And the dumpster match of the Road Dogg and Jesse James and Billy Gunn versus Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack. And what I felt at the time was Shawn Michaels' last match, HBK versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Some people believe that this ushered in the Attitude Era, but I believe that the godfather of the Attitude Era was HBK. This is the last match, and he pretty much gave himself for something he built, I believe, from the beginning of, I believe, when it was WrestleMania 12, when he started that feud with Bret Hart. I believe that actually ushered in the Attitude Era because he was very, very egotistical and he owned that and made it his own. And with his bravado, he actually pushed WWF over and made these other superstars rise up, like take that type of
All right,
mantle
I'll give you this.
and showed, hey, this is the way we're gonna be WCW. Because after this match,
Mhm.
the streak of WCW and Monday Night Raw starts going in WWF's favor. Even though it's Stone Cold as a champion, I believe this would not have happened without Shawn Michaels.
All right. Give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. So, any parting words before we go?
So if you are interested in this sometimes long, very witty, sometimes boring, with excellent guests, sometimes silly podcasts, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube or our socials.
Yeah, our Facebook page. You're more than welcome to like it, follow it at Revisiting the Mania. We're also on Twitter/X at Revisiting Mania. Our YouTube page, also Revisiting Mania, along with our threads, our Instagram, and our Blue Sky if you're using those because you're looking for other alternatives. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I should be looking into uploading the audio for our audio audience by Monday at 6 a.m. local time. We are still trying to narrow down when we will have WrestleMania 15.
Mhm.
But for sure, we are going to rewatch the Survivor Series of 1997, the Montreal Screwjob, so Maria can give her thoughts on what she thinks is what her thoughts are on the very controversial match
Have to watch it. It's gonna happen.
and part of wrestling history is, of course. Oh, and before we go, let's give a shout out to one of our viewers, Revolver Master, who says that the New Age Outlaws are greater than HBK. And how dare you,
Ooh.
sir? And with that, thank you very much for joining us and interacting with us. Have a great night.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
And like The Rock says, I'm always asked, what's the secret to success? But there are no secrets. Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room.